life of most successful artists I know is a dedicated but simple life. Now, art takes a lot of energy to create. The life of a successful artist is to snatch ideas from the ether, breathe life into them and render them anew, giving a shape, life, form and voice. And that's the category of people we beam right here on the Art Express. Welcome to the show. Themed Refuge, Lagos Biennial 2024 addresses the concept of the nation and critically reflects on the site of the exhibition Tafawa Balewa Square, bringing together artists who explore how to create an operative notion of refuge that can offer alternative paths towards constructing renewable communities. Let's go there.
My name is Folakunle Oshun. I'm the founder and the director of the Lagos Biennial, a platform for contemporary art that was founded in 2017 for the promotion of contemporary art from Nigeria to the rest of Africa and to the rest of the world. This happens to be the 4th edition of the Biennial, and we have over 80 artists from across 30 different countries reflecting on the concept of refuge. And the Biennial is happening on the sacred grounds of the Tafawa Balewa Square, where Nigeria became a legal entity. And we are in one breath questioning the concept, the rationale behind the nation state, and also proposing new models for association, for belonging, for togetherness.
The church is amazing. I saw it from over there. I sort of saved it for last. I've been looking at all the other things. I said I'll come to the church last. And the church is mind-blowing, just in terms of how he has managed to say so many things with all these objects and the way he's just put it all together. I think it's a work of genius, actually.
For me, I feel like the works are very much inspirational, and as soon as I walked in, like, I'm very big on storytelling, and I feel like the pieces here or the work set down here, I don't need the artist to explain to me. I could say it already. It's very much about societal experience and how they intend to make us believe certain things about religion at the same time, which are actually not true in some extent, and sometimes they can actually be true at the same time. But these things can actually be right. I mean.
Actually, this is not the first place I came, so for me it's just I have a lot of questions about the artist, the vision of the artist, why he wants to say it or not. And the thing is, for me, when I see this art, for example, I see it like not a church, like a factory. The factory, and for people, like you come raw and you live like something else. So, but yeah. It's interesting, the vision that we can have, all of us, we can have a different vision of this place, and that's why it's very interesting.
This reminds me of how I grew up. I grew up in the States, and I spent a lot of time in a Pentecostal church. And coming in here, seeing these chairs, seeing the handkerchiefs, seeing the spirit, it reminds me, it's taking me back to when I was growing up inside the church with my family. This is amazing, and for me to be here over 6,000 miles away from home, and then have the experience of being home, even away from home, this is amazing to me. So this kind of work, the multimedia, the presentation, the fact that he is doing a display using rosary beads, and having the chairs and having the handkerchief, it is not just a two-dimensional display. I won't even say it's three-dimensional. I'll even say it's four-dimensional because you're also touching the spirit with the display beyond just the visual. It's the emotional impact of being in this space. This is such a creative, artistic endeavor. It's amazing.
Miracle Central is referencing what happens here where we are at TBS mostly, but the starting point of it is when Archbishop Benson Daosa first filled up this place in 1985, and the voice you are hearing is his voice, and Evangelist Ire, who was a singer, a Pentecostal a gospel singer that sang, that filled up the entire TBS. So that is the starting point for this, and the handkerchiefs are representative of both church and also traditional dance, and it's a celebratory piece in that sense, and a commemorative piece to create a church situation, but also to create a meeting position and what this place, TBS, has become, where some of the biggest revivals are being heard now in Lagos.
My name is Colleen Neme. I'm from the US and Liberia. This is Lina Lasso from Colombia. Julia Cohen Ribeiro from Argentina and Brazil. Jasmine Sanchez from Brazil. And Florencia Gomez from Argentina and Cabo Verde. And we are here in our project, Extra Ancestral. This is one piece of our refuge, which continues over to the side there. And the idea around the project is that we, extra ancestors, ancestral beings from the future, are coming here today, landing to share a very important message, that we don't forget where we come from, that we remember ancestral knowledge, and we bring it into the future for us, a better future, a future for Black people. And this is our first time in Nigeria. We're very happy to be here.
My work looks at the history of colonial plantation systems across the tropical zone, specifically rubber plantations, and the history of how rubber trees were, the seedlings of the rubber trees were taken from the Amazon jungle in the late 19th century and smuggled to London by the British. From there they were propagated into seedlings, and those seedlings were sent to Sri Lanka, which is my family heritage. My mother came from Sri Lanka. And in Sri Lanka, the British botanists, this is during the colonial era, were, this is like 1880s, were trying to develop techniques to create more latex flow from rubber trees. So they would cut the tree and then a few days later cut the wound again. And as the tree brings latex to the surface to heal the wounds, they then cut the scar away again so that the latex keeps flowing.
I am a sculptor and I collaborate often with sound artists, with composers and with musicians especially. And we're sitting in my installation that I did for the Lagos Biennial, which is where we see 5 sculptures, and they all have one speaker suspended in them, and we hear different voices coming from the different speakers. So a poem written by Duigu Al is being recited in this installation. And what was important for me for this occasion was to share my platform, to be able to question authorship, but also to think together about the topic of the Lagos Biennial, which is refuge, and to see it also as a collective, or have a collective approach within this work that I'm showing here.
I'm Maria Teresa Alves. I'm an artist and I'm from Brazil. I've been commissioned by the Biennale to make a new work, and the curators chose me for the section on gregarious architecture. That means social architecture. And my idea was that to look at some beings in Lagos that might cohabit with us if we're building a house or some kind of structure in our home in Lagos. So I have built these objects that are round, and the idea is if you're building a house, you have some extra plaster, and there's agama lizards, and they might want a little bit of a place to be at home. So you can just make some little round objects and make a pile, and then you have a home for an agama. And further up, you see some vertical structures, and they are wind catchers. And they catch the wind, and also all the little leaves and little bits of dirt into a little corner. And then these are good for grasshoppers and termites that birds appreciate, and I love also grasshoppers. And then up on top, throughout this floor, there are 9 elements which I have designed, hoping that they would be attractive to birds. For example, the splendid glossy starling, which I met on my first day in Lagos, which impressed me very much. I hope I can convince with my architectural attempts that the starling comes and visits here.
So the project is titled Disassembling the Clouds. And the idea is to really look at internet infrastructure, so the physical parts of technology that make it possible for us to navigate the internet, especially data centers. So we've been focusing on researching data centers for the last few years together as a collective from different perspectives. So what you see here is an expression of our research through cookies that take the shape of these data centers that we've developed in collaboration with local bakers. and also coloring exercises that feature drawings of our interpretations of this technology, and then the wooden installation that is site-specific.
Today on Gallery, Co is pleased to present 4939, a solo exhibition by Odun Oribolade featuring an immense new body of works that extends our exploration into unseen spaces, spatial dimensions, and superfluidity as a site for the implosion and explosion of possibility. Let's go there.
I have never experienced anything like this. This is so totally I wasn't prepared to be put in this world, and it is another world quite entirely. I've gone through an experience because for the moment I feel completely somewhere I can't explain, and I don't know how I got here and what's going to happen, what's going to be my experience after living here. You know, so it seems to be in a void, you know, and it reminds me of the Diofagma Award, of the greatest fantasy that you could ever imagine. So I'm totally impressed. Sometimes this breaks plain. I think I see reflections, and there are no reflections. I see people who are, you know, taking part in the exhibition, and I thought they are part of the exhibition, and I thought they are a reflection until they move, and then new images spring up. This is quite unusual. It looks like something I could just carry and throw into the next film I'm going to make.
I would say it's different. I find it different in a sense. Kind of looks spooky, and there's an eerie feeling to the whole thing. So, something like wandering in a forest at night. Yeah. So that's the feeling it evokes. You know, it's like going to somewhere that you don't know if you're ever going to get out of it alive, and so you don't know what you're going to discover. Like surprise, like somebody who's going to jump at you and all that kind of stuff. So from that point of view, it's very interesting. Very interesting.
What do you think our should take away from this exhibition?
I beg your pardon?
What do you think our should take away from this exhibition?
For me, it's just the ritual of the human mind. I mean, you know, it takes certain minds to conceive of this and pull it off. I mean, I won't be able to come up with it in a billion years, but I mean, for somebody, it's just everyday fare, yeah, you know. But which is what art is all about anyway, you know.
Well, we're very excited. Our program here at Co has an affinity to female artists, and we're so lucky and privileged to have Odun from Yabatek to have a show, a solo show over here with us. And she has literally transformed the whole space showing us about infinite space and time. So we're standing over here and you can interpret any way you want, but a lot of it is to do with Yoruba tradition and the feeling of space and the feeling of the time never ending. So just infinite space, infinite time. Behind us, a work which uses, paper, there are flowers over here, as you can see, there's charcoal, so it's things that are beginning to decompose, but then again it has life again in the work. So it's all that question of the cycle of life and how it never ends.
So what do you expect our viewers to take away from this exhibition?
I think the beauty of it is that it's surreal. It's something, when you look at the paperworks outside, you could think it's a study on botany, it could be flowers, or it could be a cell. But it's all about life and how it's everlasting.
Yeah, so this is a solo exhibition of an artist named Odun Oromalade. This is an exhibition called 4939, and it's a project of 5 different series that works between drawing, sculpture, collage, installation, and video. And it's exploring concepts of the unknown time and space and how we interact with our existence. Yeah, we've had, this is the artist's first solo exhibition here in Lagos in 10 years. She's been exhibited around the world and participated in her residencies abroad, and so it's her first major project back in Lagos since 2014. So it's exciting to see the works come together and to see such a diverse grouping of artworks.
The show's called 4939. It's generally related to research that I've been into for so long and my engagements with space, and in this case also numbers. And a lot of it is about orientation and navigation of how our internal spaces relate with the impact that comes with it. There are different aspects to this exhibition, and for instance we're in the installation now, which is very interactive, but there are other aspects to the show, in my drawings becoming collages, becoming videos, and dealing with spaces as something matrixal. The title of the show is 4939, and I think when you hear that a lot, you remember 9. There is a numerical relation to the number 9 being what it is. It's a special number, not just in mathematics, but even in mythology, in my Yoruba culture, and other cultures across the world. There's something about the number that sort of heralds the end of something, but then it also signifies the beginning. So instead of it being something that just rounds up, it starts again. It begins this cycle of progression, but progression in a way that you can keep tabs on what it is that is happening.
As an art lover, if you're courageous enough to dedicate yourself to one of the most expressive professions, remember, you always have to inspire and feed your creative soul. Special thanks to you for joining us on this edition of The Arts Express. Join us again same time next week. Bye-bye.